So every summer, I am blessed with perennial sunflowers outside the side garden of my house. They may not have as big of flowers as the annual sunflowers, but they more than make up for it in the number of flowers and how long they bloom. You see, annual sunflowers, you gotta plant the seeds every year. And they grow up, and each stalk gets one flower. It may be really big, but you get one flower. It doesn't last very long. And the nice thing about annual sunflowers is they do reseed throughout your whole yard, neighborhood, and surrounding village. So you have lots more sunflowers. The nice thing about perennial sunflowers, you plant them once. They come back every year. The same plant comes back every year. And they put on almost 9 feet of growth every summer. So where I have mine planted, you could easily see them on Larkspur Trail over my 6-foot fence because they grow about higher than my 6-foot fence. So everybody else is also blessed with my perennial sunflowers. And so my perennial sunflowers have been doing wonderful for years, growing beautifully for years. And then I got Chaplin, my little pit bull dog. Chaplin has taken it upon himself to entertain all the other dogs who are walking down Larkspur Trail. He thinks it's his job to run up and down the inside of the fence with all the other dogs on the other side of the fence. And in the process, takes down my perennial sunflower plants. So I go into the backyard and they're laying there on the ground. But actually, that's not so bad because, see, I'm such a tender-hearted horticulturist that I could never think of cutting a flower off of one of my plants and putting it in a vase. So Chaplin does it for me. He just mows them down. So I go into the backyard, I grab the sunflowers, I put them in a vase, and I enjoy them in the house. Thank you, Chaplin, for helping cut flowers for me so that I can have in the house. The sad thing is, though, is they don't last very long. I mean, not as long as the ones outside do. You see, that is very much going to be our focus today. The sunflowers don't last very long once they're cut off from their roots. They don't last very long. If you understand that concept, you understand our Gospel of Luke today. You understand the Gospel of Luke today. You understand the Gospel of Luke today. Well, I'm glad I changed the slide. It isn't Luke, it's John. You understand the Gospel of John today. You understand the Gospel of John today. Chapter 15, verse 5. Jesus said, I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever remains in me and I in him will bear much fruit, because without me you can do nothing. Whoever remains in me and I in him will bear much fruit, because without me you can do nothing. When we remain united to the Lord, we receive his great nourishment. When we remain united to the Lord, we receive his sustenance. When we remain united to the Lord, we receive his blessings. He gives us what we need to survive, to grow, even to thrive when we remain with the Lord. But stop and think for a moment. How are things going in your life? Are there times where you might be feeling a bit wilty? Are there times in your life where you start feeling a bit wilty? Why could that be? Have you in some way been maybe cut off from the Lord? Have you in some way separated yourself from the Lord and the sustenance and the nourishment and the grace and the blessings He provides? You see, the problem is when we've cut ourselves off from the Lord, we may not know it right away. These cut flowers will look fine in this vase for a while, won't they? Even though they've been cut off from their roots, they're going to look fine. Well, that kind of happens in our life too. We might go along just fine for a while. And then we might even supplement our being cut off from the Lord to extend that time. I mean, don't we add these little packets to the water to make the flowers last even longer in the vase? So maybe we've supplemented our life with some things that just maybe makes us feel like we're still alive, that makes it feel like we're still blooming and thriving. But the reality is, what happens if I just leave these up in the front of the church from now on? They're going to get pretty sad in a while, aren't they? They're going to get a bit wilty. So those times in our life where we're feeling a little wilty, like we have cut ourselves off from the Lord, what I love about the whole vine metaphor that Jesus is teaching us, and you merge that with my horticulture degrees, if we are feeling wilty and cut off from the Lord, what's so wonderful is we can have a life-giving graft. That's the wonderful thing about Jesus. He allows you to come back to Him, to return to Him, to reconnect with Him, to tap in again to that nourishment, that sustenance, that life. You can receive in your return to the Lord a life-giving graft. And again, be nourished. So keep this in mind. Pay attention. How are things going in your life? Are you being nourished, sustained, fed? Are you thriving? Are you connected to the Lord? Are you feeling a bit wilty? Then it's time to reconnect to the Lord, to receive that life-giving graft and share in the innumerable blessings that the Lord provides for us. The innumerable blessings the Lord provides for us.